Witam cię serdecznie, drogi widzu, na kanale Zostanie. Kto nie subuje, ten pała, przypominam. Zapraszam was na twitch.tv/diabeł6, odbywają się codziennie transmisje na żywo wieczorową porą, więc wpadaj. Słuchaj, dzisiaj będziemy oglądać, drogi widzu, materiał a propos banana. Ten, kto widział chociażby ostatni przegląd memów, to wie, że banan podbił naszego streama i nie tylko naszego streama, bo w sumie cały świat nagle. Zaraz zobaczysz, o co chodzi, więc idziemy do oglądania.
On June 11th, 2024, the fourth most played game on Steam was something called Banana.
Banana.
This game, if you can even call it that, first appeared on the storefront in late April, but in less than 60 days, it now ranks among the all-time highest player counts on the platform. Knowing this, you might be wondering, what's the deal? Is this some sort of
Bananie
scam?
40k
Is
nabite,
this
ja
secretly a
pierdykam.
Bitcoin miner? And why are so many people playing the game? In order to
Ej,
answer these
jestem
questions,
pewny, że jakiś kurwa memcoin na krypto już powstał a propos banana i na pewno wypierdoli w górę, aż muszę zobaczyć.
deep dive into Banana and the team behind it. And unsurprisingly, this gimmick of a game isn't as wholesome as it might seem. Let's get started. Banana makes no effort in selling itself to potential players. The trailer and screenshots on the Steam store page leave nothing to the imagination.
Bez kapy, kurwa. A to. Jest wyskok, teraz spadek, no ale teraz dzisiaj wszystko jest na dół. Jest banan, który wypierdolił też do góry troszeczkę. No nie jest to jakiś duży skok, ale jest.
The game is hardly more than a bare-bones Unity project featuring an image of a banana. Each time you click on the banana, the number on screen increases by 1. This number is not saved between play sessions, so you have to keep the game
Zobaczymy,
running
czy
times if you wanted to maintain
coś
your
jest a
score.
propos tego klikania, czy coś to daje.
Unlike other clicker games like Cookie Clicker, there are no upgrades or additional features to add a sense of progression. The real draw here, as expected, is money.
Właśnie niekoniecznie, bo to nie za klikanie nie dostajesz bananów.
It's a free-to-play game. However, it features Steam Community Marketplace integration. This is the same system used by Counter-Strike and Dota 2, and it allows players to buy and sell in-game items using currency from their Steam wallets. In Banana, players are rewarded a random item from the game's collection every few hours, just for leaving the game open. These items are all slightly modified images of the same banana. Each one can be sold on the Steam Marketplace, and while most of them are only going for 3 cents,
Ale w ogóle ja tak zauważyłem, że z tymi bananami to jakoś dziwnie działa, bo czasami mamy takiego zwykłego banana i ja wchodzę sobie później na swój ekwipunek i z dupy dostałem na przykład tego Music Nane i Retro Nane. Tak po prostu mi weszły. Nawet nie otwierałem gierki.
some
Nie
are
wiem o co
worth
chodzi.
tens of dollars. In total, there are about 100 variations of bananas, but the developers are adding more every few days. With just this knowledge, you can already tell exactly why this game has become so popular. Hundreds of thousands of players, most of which are
333 000 kliknięć,
multi-bots
ja
or
pierdykam.
bots, leave the game running in hopes of receiving a rare banana. Then they aim to list
Ty,
them
a może to jest na zasadzie takiej, że im więcej klikniesz, tym większa szansa na to, że lepszy banan?
to get some Steam
Oh.
currency. But what exactly is the point of collecting these bananas? Well, similar to everyone's other favorite JPEG collectible, the only reason for hoarding bananas is for bragging rights. But unlike NFTs, this game doesn't use the energy equivalent of a
Banana.
single country to process pointless transactions, so they can't be hurting anyone, right? The game itself is exceedingly simple, made using the free version of Unity. It contains 2 asset packs, Layer Labs' The Stone and Bradis's Steam Libraries. The Stone is a simple user interface, and the Steam Libraries asset just enables item drops. The only actions you can perform in-game are clicking on the banana, changing the resolution, or opening the Steam Marketplace.
Ciekawy jestem, czy coś dodadzą, kurwa, do tego banana.
The absolute simplicity of the
Ile ma w ogóle
program,
osób?
it's
Jestem ciekawy
received
teraz.
thousands of positive reviews, most of which are banal jokes or memes related to bananas. However, when sorting through the litany of negative reviews, some
604 000 graczy, ja pierdolę.
more
To
serious
jest top 2.
accusations are raised. Notably, many call this game a crypto miner or a keylogger, but these are common claims levied against any suspicious game on Steam, so I take these with a grain of salt. Regardless, it's best to do some research of our own, just to be safe.
Właśnie,
Began
to jest
attempts
ważne.
to reverse engineer Banana. Banana is a game made in Unity, an engine with which I have some experience. Using open source tools, you can reverse engineer the game's compiled C++ code. After a brief review, I couldn't really find anything outwardly suspicious. The game's 60 megabytes of data contains only 3 classes aside from those for Steam integration or the UI asset pack. Those are Item Drop Check, Update Money, and Full Screen Toggle. These do exactly as you would expect, and they account for all 3 of the game's features. The next obvious thing to check would be web traffic. If they were actually collecting user data, as some suspect, then we would likely see some evidence of the game connecting to a remote server. Web traffic can be monitored through a variety of methods, but I just used Wireshark and the Windows command netstat. I'm not going to be showing my results on screen since it would just reveal my IP address, but the actual Banana game doesn't appear to contribute to web traffic at all. You don't even need Steam running to launch the game, and it
O kurwa, ty, nawet na ofie można dropić bananki,
works
zajebiście.
just fine when the internet connection is terminated. Any online aspect of the game is handled through its integration with Steam. Banana just tells Steam whenever a certain amount of
Ty, no to na pewno da się jakoś zakombinować tym kodem, żeby dropnąć najlepszego banana pewnie w najlepszym dropie. Już to pewnie jakieś pojeby
time's passed and a random item is given to the player. That's it. You only need to click once every 3 hours to be marked as an active user. These banana rewards are distributed on a fixed interval, as explained by a bot in the game's official Discord server. By opening the game and playing for up to 3 minutes, after that the game checks every 3 minutes if you are eligible for a drop. The game drops a banana every 3 and 18 hours, just make sure to click once at least in these time frames. The port
Czyli to jest na zasadzie takiej, że mamy co 3 i 18 godzin. Jeżeli nie odebraliśmy dropu, to wtedy dropią nam 2 banany. To może dlatego ja
grammar in
dostałem
this message is
parę.
a bit confusing, but I left the game running for about 10 minutes and received 3 banana items in my inventory. There's a chance you'll receive a banana every 3 minutes, with a guarantee
kurwa.
every 3 and 18 hours. The 18
No i teraz muszę włączyć banana! To co to było? Muszę włączyć banana, bo co 3 minuty dropi teraz, kurwa!
hour banana is supposed to be a rare one, although without any way to know the actual numbers behind these drops, who knows how rare it actually is. Additionally, because of how the Steam inventory system works, the developer does have the power to manually generate items for users. So who's to say that they aren't just creating the rarest bananas and giving them to their friends? To conclude this section, there doesn't appear to be anything obviously malicious going on within the game's code. It's an extremely simple Unity project that probably took no longer than a day's worth of work to put together. However, due to the nature of Steam items, there's no way for players to know the true drop rates behind the different bananas. Since the sole purpose of this game is to obtain said bananas, let's talk about those next. There are 2 types of bananas, common and rare. Most of them are awarded through timed drops, but there are some exceptions. There are currently 5 bananas that can be purchased directly from the developer on the game's item store page. These each cost 25 cents, and the bananas available here rotate out on an unknown schedule. The appeal of this, for collectors, is that they might one day become worth a lot of money once they're removed from the store. And for the developers, well, it's a consistent source of income.
Ty, ale jestem właśnie ciekawy, bo tych bananów, które możesz zakupić w grze, nie da się totalnie sprzedać. Chyba, że będziesz, no niby tak, można wymienić i wystawić na rynku po 20.06, nie? Kurwa, no jestem ciekawy ile to będzie kosztować.
Every single banana being a Steam Marketplace item, they can all be freely
Da
bought
się
and sold.
sprzedać?
This has resulted in a massive banana economy erupting nearly overnight, with hundreds of thousands of trades happening every day. While some rare bananas have been sold for close to $100, the vast majority of them are only going for 3 cents, the lowest possible price. In general, the revenue from a Steam Marketplace transaction is split between the 3 and going on within the game's code.
Kurwa.
It's an to put together rates behind the amount though from the daily it's a freely bought and sold. This has resulted in a massive banana economy erupting nearly overnight, with hundreds of thousands of trades happening.
Niektóre są warte na przykład po $50, na przykład takie, które dostajesz za 240 godzin gry. O kurwa, to jest
Some rare
taki.
bananas have been sold for close to $100. The vast majority of them are only going for 3 cents, the lowest possible price.
To trzeba teraz im szybciej, tym lepiej, nie? Sterksen.
Transaction is split between
Czyli na pewno są jakieś ukryte banany, na przykład za kliknięcie czy coś.
the involved parties, the seller, the developer, and Valve. The percentages are, respectively, 85%, 10%, and 5%. However, the split can never be less than 1 cent per party, which is why the minimum listing price is 0.03 of whatever your local currency is. With the majority of banana sales occurring at the rock bottom price, each of the 3
Zobacz sobie, który jest najdroższy? Aż musimy zobaczyć to, poczekajcie. Rynek? Banana? Rozumiesz? Najdroższy banan. Wcześniej widzieliśmy jakiegoś za 6000, który strzela. Cryptisinana. Ej, Cryptisinana urosła, kurwa, 1,5 koła teraz. On wcześniej kosztowała 3600 chyba. Ja pierdolę, ale to jest pojebane. Test banana. OG banana. Ja pierdolę, jakie to są ceny dzikie.
parties will receive 1 cent per transaction. With this information, let's do some math.
Ale patrz na to, ile gracze chcą za to dać. Okej, bo to jest buy order i sell order. Aha, i czyli są dwójkę. Okej, czyli za dwójkę tutaj kupują tego Crypticinana chociażby. A ile się sprzedało na przykład te Crypticinan ostatnio? Jest jakieś za 3000 sprzedany, tutaj za 2 zszedł. Czyli coś tam się rusza w tym. Ten Sad Hamster? Najdroższe za 1069. To za 200 zszedł, okej. No ludzie próbują się pozbyć jak najszybciej,
According
bo
to
myślałem, że
Steam's
to
data,
będzie
there are currently 228,000 players with Banana open on their machine. Every 3 hours, a
Tych, co są najdroższe, już nie da się dropnąć. Aha, czyli to są kurwa jakieś stare, nie? Cannot be bought from the ice shop anymore. Aj, widzisz, to są z item shopu. O kurwa.
common banana is dropped, for a total of 8 a day. Each common banana can be sold for 3 cents, so with that 3-way split, the developer can make up to 8 cents per player per day. Assuming every single player successfully sells each banana they receive, the developers and Valve might be making as much as $18,000 a day in revenue. And that's strictly from the marketplace fees. Who knows how much they make from the item shop? While this 5-digit figure is what's been tossed around by media outlets such as Forbes, it's actually quite a generous assumption. In reality, a large portion of Banana's users are Russian, as indicated by posts on the discussion forum.
Okay.
Since 0.03 rubles is a lot less than $0.03, those users are able to access buy and sell orders that US-based users wouldn't be able to see, since the minimum US price is 3 cents. It's kind of confusing, but basically, it's likely that the true revenue is a lot lower.
Ale zamiast sprzedawać, to widzę, że ludzie na TC często chcą zmieniać na skin. No to jest, no wiesz, jest to nadal do handlowania na markecie, nie? No to stawiam, że dokładnie to samo jest na przykład ze skinami do Doty, nie?
Returning to the obvious question, who in their right mind would ever spend money on these useless items? If you're a long-time viewer of my channel, you already know the answer. NFT profile pictures amassed a trading volume in the billions at one point. A percentage of these purchases are collectors, for sure, but most of them are just going to speculators. Since every banana is technically limited in supply due to them rotating out of the drop pool, some people think that they might be able to sell the rare bananas in the future for a profit. Obviously, I can't tell the future, but I would be seriously surprised if anybody cared about these a month from now. Aside from collectors and speculators, it's also likely that many of these players are just children looking to get free money. And as someone who was formerly a kid on the internet, I can assure you that I would have done anything to get some free Steam cash. Before we continue on to the next section, I want to make one more point.
Banan do banana i będzie jakaś gierka, no widzowie, taka
Not only
prawda.
does no one know the true rarity of the bananas, but it's also impossible to tell who's behind the marketplace banana sales. Unlike some items on the Steam marketplace, bananas are considered a commodity. This means that you cannot see the individual marketplace listings for each item. It's entirely possible that a large percentage of the rare bananas are held by the developer and their friends. This would mean that they're able to dump them onto the marketplace whenever they want to cash out. To add even more factors in favor.
Ta, nawet Shibominu są, no to jest stricte pod NFT. Kurwa, ale to jest genialny pomysł ogólnie. Ja pierdolę, nie wiem jak to na to wpadło, ale teraz zarobi taką siopę z tego.
Marketplace are subject to a 7-day trade hold. This means that anyone who purchases a banana with the intention of flipping it must wait 7 days. I'm sure that a non-zero number of people have already found themselves left bag holding a bushel of bananas. With all of these aspects combined, it's pretty easy to suspect that there might be some sort of manipulation going on behind the scenes, especially when you consider that the bananas are added and removed from the drop pool on a seemingly random basis, allowing the supply and demand to be changed at the whim of the developer in order to assuage your fears of
Muzykę na added, lykę na removed. Anomalian, zresztą disco banana added.
demand to be changed at the whim of the developer. In order to assuage your fears of missing out, the developers recommend that you join their official Discord server so you never miss a new banana drop. Just like the average crypto scheme, Banana uses Discord as their primary source of communication. With their server hosting over 30,000 members, this community of banana fanatics is ablaze with speculators discussing the hottest new get-rich-quick scheme. Here, users can learn which bananas are added and removed from the drop pool, make peer-to-peer banana trades, or participate in other community events, such as giveaways or live streams. They've also hinted at a potential upcoming offering of banana merch. While none of this is sketchy in its own right, it's worth noting the sheer value brought by owning an active Discord server of this size. The Banana team has direct access to the push notifications for tens of thousands of impressionable users who are clearly interested in either collecting worthless consumer garbage or getting free money. Again, nothing malicious seems to be happening just yet, but the opportunity is absolutely there. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of this server is the Banana Design Ideas channel. There's two ways you can look at this. On one hand, it's a great way to get the community.
Jestem ciekawy na przykład, czy za to jak stworzysz jakiegoś banana, który później zostanie przyjęty na przykład do gierki, bo mogę też tak robić, czy będą właśnie ludzie, którzy stworzyli tego banana, dostawali hajs czy coś.
Well, not like there's much of a game here, but you get the idea. On the other hand, it can be seen as a way for the developers to profit off the work of the community. They don't actually have to put any effort into coming up with new bananas. They just copy and paste whatever their fans made and plop it up for sale. Not to mention that most of this art features copyrighted material, so this whole thing is really walking a fine line. Nonetheless, it's your average large Discord server. The moderators appear to do a good job keeping things orderly and on topic, and there doesn't appear to be anything unscrupulous or scammy going on at this time. While the server and community within seem to be well behaved, let's turn our eyes to the team behind the project. The Banana Discord server is owned and operated by a user named These Lions. However, the developer and publisher on Steam are listed as Aladdin66, Pony, Sky, and Aesthetic Spartan. All of these users are active moderators within the Banana Discord server. Interestingly, these 4 individuals have published another game on Steam, Lasse Sliden. This game costs $1, and it features 100 achievements and over 300 Steam Marketplace items. Reviews
Ale to już nie jest pierwsze podejście do takiego czegoś.
Indicate that this is not much of a game at all. Instead, it's an amalgam of free Unity asset packs. There's no objective or interaction. Simply wander around and receive free achievements for pressing different keys on your keyboard. As you leave the game running, you'll also receive Steam Marketplace items, many of which feature random memes or references to friends of the developer. It's clear that this is the same idea as Banana, a nonsense product designed for collectible farmers. This is nowhere near the only game of this type on Steam, however. Ever since Valve introduced customizable Steam profiles, especially the highlighted achievements section, games like this have been popping up left and right. Generally, the achievements feature humorous images or memes and are awarded just by launching the game. Since these titles are usually free or extremely cheap, it's easy for someone to justify purchasing them just for a funny achievement to show on their profile. This same logic applies to the Steam Marketplace items, which can be shown on the profile's Item Showcase section. Personally, I couldn't be bothered to care what my Steam profile looks like, but I can totally see the items and achievements. With this context in mind, it becomes a lot more obvious as to why someone might want to make one of these games. It's one of the most low-effort undertakings you could possibly imagine, yet there is somehow a demand.
Ty, no ale to ma w sumie kurwa sens rzeczywiście, nie? Nawet ta wcześniejsza gra, bo ludzie ogólnie mają niektórzy pierdolce strasznie na tworzeniu swojego takiego profilu na Steamie, bardzo mocnego, nie? No i tutaj gościu na przykład jest w stanie sobie z tych literek zrobić jakiś głupi napis, nie? Znaczy głupi, no dobra, Ukraina akurat w tym wypadku, ale...
Returning to Banana, the game was obviously inspired by another similar title uploaded to Steam earlier this year, Egg. This is more of the same thing. A minimum effort, glorified click counter.
Kurwa, 1-1. Już nawet mi pisaliście o tym, ale Egg chyba nie ma aż takiej dużej popularności. Też muszę zobaczyć. Egg Steam Charts. Nie wiem dlaczego ma dużo większy potencjał taki mamiczny. Banan, aniżeli jajko.
Remember the Banana Discord server owner, These Lions? Well, I managed to find a Steam profile with that exact same name. Currently, they're serving the lifetime sentence of a Steam trade ban.
Za 1 milion kliknięć dostaje się banana za dyszkę? O kurwa.
Their profile hosts dozens of comments labeling them as a scammer, but they shared a video claiming to exonerate themselves. The video, uploaded by Counter-Strike YouTuber TDM Jesus, explains the story in detail. In summary, these Lions, as well as some of their friends, participated in a Steam Marketplace pump and dump scheme over 3 years ago. It's as ridiculous as it sounds, but to summarize, they allegedly received thousands of free Steam Marketplace items for their friend's game. These items were, funnily enough, named Bitcoin, and they belonged to a game called Run. At one point, some unaffiliated user bought every single one of these items for sale as a joke, totaling less than $50. This sudden spike in trade volume caused the item to briefly be shown on the front page of the Steam Marketplace. This spotlight would attract the attention of curious marketplace browsers, who would begin to buy Bitcoin at an increasingly higher price. Since These Lions and the other friends of the developer held millions of these items, they had complete control over the supply, and thus the price. Pretty much every single sale was from the inventories of These Lions and their associates. But just a few days later, Valve would intervene. They permanently banned the developer, removed Run from Steam, and refunded all purchases of these Bitcoin items. Since These Lions was one of the primary sellers, they were banned as well. Whether or not you
O
agree
kurwa.
with a justified
I dlatego on nie może teraz korzystać jako, znaczy być przedstawiany jako jeden z deweloperów. Ten These Lions.
ban, this is undoubtedly the same These Lions that's involved with Banana. Their Steam account is even friends with and in the same groups as the user
Czyli banan to jest piramida, kurwa.
Robert Partison, who's listed as one of the developers for Banana. Honestly, Robert
No ale to trzeba być, kurwa, tak totalny debilem. No ja dla beki sobie rzeczywiście tam wydałem, kurwa, te 5 zł, żeby być na film mieć. Ale trzeba być debilem, żeby kupować, kurwa, banany po parę tysięcy, nie?
Partison and These Lions are probably the same person. Anyway, with all of these factors in mind, it might be worth looking at Banana through a lens of suspicion. These games that endlessly print Steam Marketplace items have been around for a few years now, and at the end of the day, it's really only the devs that make out as winners. This specific game was brought to my attention thanks to an email from a viewer. I found it so intriguing that I just had to do some digging of my own. I always knew about the lazy asset flips with vanity achievements, but this whole item printer concept came as a surprise. I'm honestly not sure what will become of Banana. Its closest comparison, Egg, remains on Steam 5 months after release. However, Egg didn't attract anywhere close to the attention that Banana's receiving, as it only peaked at a player count of 17,000. With Banana already having been featured in a few gaming media outlets, the growth has only increased. This is further bolstered by the title's very positive review score, resulting from endless brain rot meme reviews left by literal children. Since I'm kind of contributing to the problem by making this video in the first place, I figure the best I can do is offer a word of advice. I wouldn't waste my time with this sort of stuff. The amount of money to be made here is pretty insignificant. We're talking tens of dollars at most. It's really not worth your energy engaging with this sort of speculative market, especially when...
Znaczy, no dobra, ale jeżeli chodzi o jakąś spekulację i tak dalej, to rzeczywiście nie ma się co tym bawić. No ale kurwa, dla samego żartu, odpalenie banana, żeby zobaczyć co dropnie, nie przeszkadza totalnie. Jeżeli nie robisz tego, nie zostawisz na przykład takiego kompa na noc, czy coś takiego, żeby kurwa specjalnie banana ogarnąć,
so many
to whatever.
Nobody knows that the developers will suddenly print thousands of rare bananas, and who knows what they might try and sell next, thanks to their newfound fame. And even if everyone is just selling the bananas for the minimum 3 cents, the developers still
raz nie
making a
dostaniesz
killing.
banana.
I recommend
Co?
simply ignoring
Nie no,
this
dostaniesz.
and enjoying the inevitable dumpster fire when this whole thing comes crashing down. Despite this being a rather transparent money-making scheme, Valve seems to have given this type of behavior a pass. I guess I should congratulate these guys for discovering a way to make thousands of dollars with such ease. Never underestimate the power of the giga-consumer Steam users that care enough
XD. No a teraz wydaje mi się, że jak to zdobyło tak dużą popularność, to nie zostanie ściągnięte ze Steama. Gdyby miało być ściągnięte, to już by zostało ściągnięte,
to
myślę.
collect the digital equivalent of
A teraz, znając życie, skoro już kurwa zyskało taką popularność i rzeczywiście wszyscy z tego zarabiają, to po co mają to usuwać, nie? Jak ja zostawiłem na noc i normalnie dropią? Ile dropnąłeś? Bananów wilczur przez noc? 6? O kurwa. A, czyli co 3 minuty rzeczywiście jest szansa na to, że dropniesz jakiegoś banana. Kurwa, beka w chuj. No nie wiem, ja lubię takie rzeczy. O, retronanę dostaliśmy kolejną. Widzicie? Haha, było warto, kurwa. Czyli co 3 minuty normalnie. Siadło, widzowie, cyk. Siemeczko, ja się pytam, jak on wytrzymuje, skoro codziennie robi kilkugodzinnego streama, ale kto, że ja? Życie, widzę, życie. Tych żółtych nawet nie sprzedasz? No to kurwa jestem pewien, bo one są zbyt, no kurwa. Chociaż sprzedano 1 433 434 817 przez ostatnie 24 godziny. Coś tam się sprzedaje, widzu. No sprzedają się. O kurwa. Patrz. Wcześniej po 100 dziennie się sprzedawało 50 co godzinkę. A teraz? 60 tysięcy, 200 tysięcy. Ja pierdolę. Co tu się dzieje? No o to chodzi. Dlatego ludzie w to kurwa poszli, nie? Po prostu. Ale to wiesz, no zanim na jakąś grę zbierasz, to trochę minie.